How's it going? Something you should be aware of is that the more creative you can be, the better what you're doing can be. Because there's no limit or rules or box to be within when it comes to how creative you can make your music. One of my favorite things when I discovered it was, I'm a guitar player. So I have a lot of guitar pedals at my disposal because I've been, collecting them through time to get a great sound when I'm playing live on guitar. But the beautiful thing about using guitar pedals outside of just guitar is that you basically have additional outboard gear that is really cheap and kind of wacky in terms of what it will do to a signal that's not guitar. A good example of this is Dave Jordan talks about when he's recording Alice in Chains. I love that interview. You should check it out. It's on the Produce Like a Pro channel. But he goes into detail about how he's using a phaser on Lane Staley's voice, and it's helping create this amazing whirling kind of effect. And it's part of the reason why his voice does an amazing kind of a flutter. I'm not talking about the notes he's hitting or anything. I'm just talking about the way it sounds. It's adding a lot to it. And Dave Jordan will tell you that he always uses guitar pedals when he's producing in some fashion. No matter what you have at your disposal, you can use that in your mix in some fashion and create a sound that's unique to you, because not everybody has that idea. Depending on how you run effects into each other will further change the sound. So in other words, it doesn't even matter if you have the same exact pedal as someone else. If you're running that pedal through some mic pre in some other fashion, it's going to sound different. Change any part of it. If you're running that pedal through a reverb pedal after it in series, it's going to change the sound completely. If you're using an octave pedal and putting a fuzz on it, a la Hendrix, and putting a wah on that, it's going to sound very different than if you just used the fuzz by itself, if you used any other combination and put anything else in between. So many things are going to affect the sound that you never have to worry about sounding too much like somebody else. It's just about how creative can you be. And that's the cheapest way to get into the outboard effects game, is to buy guitar pedals, bass pedals, guitar pedals. Any sort of pedal is the same thing as outboard gear, except it's taking an unbalanced signal in and spitting an unbalanced signal out. So as long as you can deal with that and figure out what you may need to deal with that, or maybe nothing because you want that sound, then that's good. You can really use anything. There are no limits. As creative as you can be is as different as you can make your record sound. So the sky's the limit. I want you guys to realize that you can literally, another thing you could do, you could take a vocal, and this is something Dave talked about also, to get a sort of distorted sound on the vocal. They used to run vocals through a PA system. And the PA, if you've ever used a PA, you can pretty much, send too hot of a signal in and it's going to sound sort of fuzzy but sort of not, and create its own sort of distortion. You're going to mic the PA, send vocals into it a little hot, and it's going to be distorted. So even if you didn't send it in too hot, it's not going to sound as clean, crisp, and clear as if you did it directly using your mic into your DAW. So we used to, in practice for years, to get an effect, you could run a vocal through like a guitar amp, run it into a mixer if you want or not, but just run it into a guitar amp to give you like a distortion box for your vocal, basically, coming out of a different thing, and mic that up. There's no limit to what you can do. This is why someone like me loves this so much, because I am the opposite of boxed in. I'm free flying with no cage. You got to do that too. It'll help. If you guys do anything like this that I didn't mention, let's talk about it. Let me throw in one more thing before I kill the video here. Wolfpack has mentioned this a lot. When you listen to Wolfpack, I love the sound of the Wolfpack stuff. Jack discovered that when he ran his stuff through this piece of this sampler he had or whatever, it had a particular compressor function on it that did unique things unlike any compressor he'd ever used before. Because of that, he actually developed a plugin that utilizes that sound, and they tried to hone that sound in a plugin because it was so cool what it was doing. Every compressor is going to work slightly different depending on the source material and depending on the algorithm within the compressor. So he found that this one particular compressor in particular was killer. It was doing something that was not going to happen with anything else he used. So he harnessed that and created that built into his sound. And Wolfpack is one of the most unique sounding bands that also gives you old school vibes, largely because of this. Largely because of this idea, this technique of using what you have at your disposal, pushing the boundaries of it, and coming out the other side with something that nobody else is doing. And that is an amazing idea. All right. So you guys go with this. If you do anything like this, I want to hear about it. Throw it in the comments. I think people will learn from it. People will get ideas from it. And never worry about other people stealing your ideas. Because like I said, if you use a different mic pre, a different vocalist, a different guitar, it's never going to sound the same anyway. So, that's part of the reason why I love sharing all my information with you guys. Because like my ears is why I make the decisions I make. So even if I share every piece of information, there's never a worry about like, uh-oh, now they're going to sound just like me. No, they won't. Nobody ever will sound just like you. You never have to worry about that. You can share your information and it will cause other people to have now building blocks to make their stuff different. And now we'll get more information from them if they choose to share their information. The information age is awesome. I'm a fan. I want to hear what you guys are doing. Throw it in the comments. My name's Evan Jaffe. If you like the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Head on over to our website, special offer. All right, talk to you guys soon. Just remember, you guys got this. All right, Custom Cut Studios. Take it easy.